And let's see here. Isai, can you help me factor?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. All right, so what are we going to do first?
Multiply A and C, I think.
Yeah, so are you doing this thing? So A times C is negative 15. And then what's B?
14.
Yeah, and what multiplies to negative 15 and adds to 14?
14 and then, oh no, 15 and then -1, right?
Perfect. Yeah, 15 and -1 work. So then we can do our little box method where we put the first term here and our last term there. And then what do we put in this box? Isai?
15 and -1, sorry.
Yeah, 15x and then -1x. And then we need to factor out every row and column. So Isai, if you'll just finish it out for me, what's the factor I can pull out of here?
I don't remember, I'm sorry.
That's okay, that's okay. What is common to both of these values? Both of these?
X.
Yeah, x. And what about in this column?
The X also. The X and the number.
And what number can I pull out of both?
3.
Yeah, good. And then what about this row down here?
The bottom row?
Yeah, the bottom
row. 5.
Perfect. And this right-hand column?
-1.
Yeah, perfect. -1. Okay, it sounded like somebody was trying to get in. Let me let them in. And then, okay, hopefully that works. Okay, and so this means that my two factors should be 3x minus 1 and x plus 5. If I multiply these together, I should get 3x squared plus 14x minus 5. Okay, anybody have questions on factoring? Thank you, Isai, for helping with all that. Okay, everybody remember how to factor? If you use a different method, this was like the cross and box method. If you use something else, let me know. Well, it's really anything is fine as long as you get the correct factors and I can see your work somehow. Okay. Any questions before we move on? Okay, we're going to go ahead and move on then. Okay, so today's notes are going to be handwritten on notebook paper. So you don't need to print anything. For some reason, I don't have the notes posted from the last class I taught, but I'll try to go slow enough so that you guys can keep up. So today we are taking notes on systems of absolute value, inequalities. Okay, so we're moving on a little bit from piecewise functions. We're going to start systems of absolute value inequalities. Okay, you can have other types of inequalities too. You could have linear, or you could even have equations, systems of equations instead of inequalities. But we're going to focus on the absolute value inequalities because those are probably the least familiar. Okay, so the first thing I want you guys to notice is when we are drawing graphs. Oh, I'm recording, right? I'm pretty sure I said that I would start. Yeah, I did. Okay. There are two things you've got to remember, okay? I'm going to make two little columns here. So one is for when we have less than or equal to signs or greater than or equal to signs. And the other is going to be if we have strictly less than or strictly greater than. Okay. When we have these guys, when we have the equal to, This means we need to have solid lines. We are including all the points on the lines. Okay, so I'll write what I said. This means that points on the function are included. Okay, so your absolute value graphs will look something like this. Okay, the solid lines. Questions? Also, can you guys see me? Is there like a little box with my face on it, or does it only show the notes?
Only.
What'd you say?
I can see you.
Oh,
Only the notes.
you only see the notes?
Yeah.
Interesting. I realized the other day I was looking at one of the recordings and I thought I saw a box with my face on it. And I was like, oh my goodness, I thought they couldn't see me. Hopefully I haven't done anything too embarrassing. All right. Then our strictly less than and strictly greater than lines, we're going to have dashed lines here. Okay, because when we have strictly less than or strictly greater than, the points on the function are not included. Okay, so these functions are going to have dashed lines. So they're going to look like this when we draw them out. Okay, questions before we move on to the next piece? All right, so solutions are going to occur everywhere two functions overlap. Okay, this is going to be unless like a solid line crosses a dashed line. If we have a solid line crossing a dashed line, that point is not included because the dashed line is not included. Okay, so I guess I'll write that. I didn't write that on my original notes, but except at the intersection of solid and dashed lines, or dashed and dashed. So for example, so if I had like this and this is not a solution. Okay, or I guess if I had dashed and dashed, these are not solutions. Okay, what questions do you guys have about that? Just gonna make things look a little prettier while I wait for you guys to write. All right, what questions? Okay, and I'm going to highlight these guys to show that I'm talking about both of those are not solutions. Okay, the next thing that I want to write is that I want you guys to use Desmos or a calculator to graph the system of inequalities. Okay. The point here is not necessarily taking the time to graph it, although that's a great skill to have. The point here is to be able to find the solutions. So I want you guys to be using them. Okay, so we'll do some examples to try to show these ideas a little bit more clearly. So on our first example, I'm going to have y is, oops, I automatically wrote the wrong thing. Y is greater than or equal to the absolute value of x minus 3 minus 2. And my other inequality is y is less than the negative absolute value of x minus 2 plus 4. So this is my system of inequalities. Okay, so I'm going to use some different colors so you guys can see. So I think pink and blue show up pretty different no matter what your screen. So I'm going to make this one blue, and this one pink. Okay, and then I'm going to draw out a little set of axes. We will graph them on Desmos and then sketch them out on our own graph. Okay. So while you guys are catching up, I'm going to go ahead and make this a little bit smaller and pull up Desmos. Oops, make this smaller. Ugh, and everything's in my way. Okay, let's go to desmos.com. Get this out of the way. And then we're going to go ahead and graph our two functions. So I'm going to have y is greater than or equal to, and then I need to find my little, also, I just want to take a minute. Hold on, let me unshare this so you guys can all see me. Look at what my husband just came and brought into my room. I think I told you guys I'm pregnant. I'm having a baby boy, and I've been craving sour things, and he just brought this much sour candy to my office. Very sweet. Anyways, oh, Amaya is here, so let me let her in, and then let me reshare my screen. I just thought that was hilarious, so I needed to show you guys. Okay, so you guys should see the Desmos and notes again. Okay, so we have y is greater than or equal to, I need my little functions app, so I gotta slide this over. So I need my absolute value function, and I want x minus 3, and then minus 2. So that one's gonna be red, and then this one is gonna be y is less than negative. I have the absolute value of x minus 2. Oops, I need to finish my thing, and then plus 4. Okay, so those are my two functions. All right, so I'm going to move just the functions out of the way so you guys can see the notes a little bit better. All right, and we're going to go ahead and sketch these out on our own paper. Okay, so the blue one on our paper is the, let me just switch these colors so that, okay, so this one